Hello everybody, Timespinner again. Me, Ryushikaze. Him, Blastinus. Her, Lunai. Last time we got to what I had suspected was going to be the final piece of the Timespinner. It was not. Instead, we've got to go find it, so at the moment, well, just a moment ago, I looked at, okay, where haven't I been on this map? Because, as Blastinus actually pointed out a couple episodes ago, I had completely forgotten to look in the bottom right-hand corner of the science lab when we turned the power on. So now we're headed there to go pick it up.
So are we going to be experiencing this in real time, or are you actually just going to give us a nice cut?
No, this one we're going to experience in real time, mostly because it's not all that much of a trip over there, and because basically the trip there and back is like, oh, teleport, teleport, run. And then it's immediately onward to the next plot point, so.
I mean, yes, but I feel like we could have cut out at least a little bit of dithering here.
In retrospect, probably. I probably could have faded until the new part. And me taking all this excessive damage.
All this going in and out of doors, you know.
Yeah. But that would have taken effort. Effort. No, if I'd been a little less sick of doing video editing because I was doing some for work, I probably would have taken more time and made some more notable cuts. But I did enjoy that sort of triumphant little hopping over the experiments with my run button.
Yeah, those were some nice reflexes.
Thank you.
I think you could probably reach them like with a powered up sword.
Yeah, I realized that pretty on the way out. That powered up sword or what is it? The hammers would work pretty well here. The first in a set of 3. This was the first one they expect you to find. I just want to point that out.
That seems a little peculiar.
Yeah. It is especially interesting because you can really find the first one without even trying, because it's in the underground catacombs, which I think you can even access. Well, no, you can access them as soon as you get the A key card. All of them are behind the A key card, but all of the other ones are in areas that you've definitely seen before, and so I think would be primary spots for going to backtrack in.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's why you're not a game designer.
Nope, I'm just a guy who is incredibly, we'll call it skilled, for lack of a better word, at doing things out of the order people intend me to do.
So close.
Yeah. But we're pretty close to a healing spot, and I don't care too much. Hey! Griffin got a level up.
So what level does it make him, you think?
I can... I mean, I forget. I know it's on there somewhere on the sub-screen, but I just haven't thought to look. Now we are off to where the only working Timespinner is. Because I don't know if you remember this from our fight with the Shapeshifter, but he had talked about having made a replica Timespinner and was planning on using it.
What's wrong with the one that we used?
We kind of exploded it by using it without the calibration gears.
Oh, go us.
Yeah. In fairness, we thought we wouldn't need it again. We were young and stupid back then. Yeah. The Sandman.
The Sandman.
Yes. The controller of time. So I choose to kill Nuvius over killing Volturilis, mostly because I think that this is going to be like a you can make the choice again things. But
I'm just like,
turns out it's not.
I'm just a little bit You're naming your ultimate villain the Sandman.
I have considered just taking the song Mr. Sandman and superimposing it over the fight scenes. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
That'd be too obvious.
Right. Yeah, she gets that this is blank. Either, depending on the version, because I do show off the other fight later, but in this one she says, this is patricide, and she has a similar little, like, movie little one-liner for when she kills Volturilis.
She needs to work on that.
Yeah. This fight is pretty much the exact same as the earlier one, with slightly inflated numbers, I guess, because he's in the prime of life or something.
I guess?
Yeah. I mean, really, it's just so you have a slightly better fight against him. But
they couldn't even add a couple extra attacks or something?
He actually seems to do less of the supers, but teleport a little more quickly. And throw his attacks out a little faster. But we just broke time. The end. Or not. So we just caused a crisis on Infinite Earths, and the DC editorial staff said, nope, fuck it, starting over from zero. New 52.
Time rules seem to be a little bit arbitrary in this game.
Yeah, they sort of are. I mean, they are no matter what in a time travel story, but they seem a little more egregiously so.
Oh, so you're just going to, like, fix time by punching something else.
Yep, we're gonna just beat the guy up and solve time that way.
I don't think it works like that.
Of course it works like that. We said that's what we're gonna do, and that's why it works like that. And if you don't believe it, I'm gonna beat you up too. So if he is all-powerful, then why aren't you already destroyed?
Good question.
Yeah.
Also, he's just a lion with an hourglass.
Yeah, he's not super impressive looking at the moment. And if we want to, we can go back into any of the other time periods. We're not locked in here. So if you need to get some shopping done, you can get it done in your illusory shopping time period.
Can you chat with your illusory friends?
Yes, you can, and do their illusory side quests. If you have, for some reason, gotten here without doing them.
So basically, it's just an excuse for, like, giving you a way to backtrack.
Yeah.
Because heaven forbid, like, breaking time would actually have any consequences.
I mean, yeah. I mean, time travel exists. What is causality? There's no rules. There's nothing bad can ever happen.
I mean,
I'll just go back in time and fix it. I'll leave myself a note to go steal my dad's keys.
I mean, I do like the design of these enemies.
Oh yeah, no, these are great. I wish that more enemies, like if there'd been more areas like this, as like even brief ones, if you know that we were stuck in this sort of the dreaming area. Beforehand, it would have been very interesting and very nifty.
Yeah, more freaky.
You know, as a sign that something was wrong.
Yeah, like more like freaky art design rather than just like. I mean, I'm not going to criticize the art for the enemies. Like they flow very well. It's just that they're kind of generic.
They're very well designed, but they're not like very eye-catching.
A lot of the monsters are like different flavors of bird.
Yeah, that is sort of a problem. Yeah, and the thing is, there's actually, if you count, you know, the stuff in here and some of the endgame stuff, there's a lot of really good enemy variety in this game. It's just not terribly well used. And we have our super jump.
Is there a limit on it?
What was that?
Is there a limit on it?
Nope. So long as we can hold up and jump, we are good to go. So, naturally, we do anything but progress the plot with it. Mostly because there's a couple areas that I've been hankering to check out ever since I noticed them. And we can very quickly just teleport in and out.
Ah, so we're gonna finish, like, filling in our illusory map.
Uh-huh. More or less. There's still, like, 2 spaces that I don't actually, find here, but they are in very peculiar places that you would not immediately think to look. And yeah, I should have gone down and checked that first, but oh well.
So wait, the Sandman's method of blocking us is to drop some rubble in front of us?
Yep.
I'm gonna say that the Sandman is perhaps not the smartest.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's terribly clever, really. But yes, no, the places that I forget to go check are a couple of nooks and crannies here in the future and the throne room in the past. The first thing I do, just because I want to see if there's anything here, is finish mapping this and...
By the way, what was the point of the Emperor like having that fancy armor at the start of the game if he's just going to, you know?
I don't really know. Yeah, because you'd think that he'd be wearing it at, like, the specifically the helmet. I think, like, the narrative point. The narrative purpose of it is obvious. It's so you don't immediately realize that he's your dad.
Well, yeah, but
so you don't see the. But the in-universe reason, they never explain why he's got that helmet on. Because he's wearing the rest of it in every other appearance, just not the helmet. I think it would have been a nice trick if, or not trick, but just visual if at the start of the battle he had it off,
or maybe
but when the battle started, like, he put it back on.
Here's my thought. He's got the helmet, right? And then like there's a halfway point in the fight where you knock the helmet off,
and that's when it is his face gets revealed.
Yeah,
that would work pretty well. And that's where I learned that is acid.
And acid is bad for you.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just thinking, okay, where else should I go? What's all right. So I head back to the past, and I check up on the area above the tower boss fight, which we can now... For some reason I thought that it'd be filled, but it did not. So yeah, I check out the area right above here. Which gets us a new familiar.
Cool.
The demon.
Oh, come on. It's just one of those robed guys?
Yeah. He is not the last familiar you can get. I do leave him equipped for a while because I want to see what he can do. And there's not a whole lot of plot left.
No. Yep, he just does the demon thing.
Yep.
That's kind of lame.
It is. The final familiar that we get, who you're going to see later, is a lot better. There's one more that I think I still need to find, because there's an achievement for getting all the familiars, and that is currently that and the find every single corner on the map are the only two that I do not have in this game. I'm missing 0.1% and a familiar, and I think they're the same place.
Probably need to, like, punch a wall somewhere.
Yeah, no, there's a decent amount of wall punching that I did on my second run through to find stuff. There is one orb I missed entirely. Attack the first time through. The blood orb, or the sanguination orb, I should say.
That sounds interesting.
It's got an interesting attack pattern in that it starts away from you and then flies towards you, and then attacks everything in that path. I need to experiment with that one more, because I actually picked that one up after the technically last orb attack in the game. Because, well, you'll see that one in a little bit when we get to it. Also, regarding what was said in the chat, in the thread about the chests being rare or common, and that being fixed, I don't think they are. There are certain ones that are always specific items, like this princess dress, but the other ones that can be like equipment or consumables, those I think randomize when you enter and exit the new area.
So are these like busts of the developers?
Either developers or very high Kickstarter backers. I'd have to double check. I think it's the developers. And yeah, that's me going, okay, that's enough of that for now, because I forget about the several areas that I've got, several small areas that I've got left to find. So we miss out on an aura up, one of the mother's memories, and a couple of things that I do not get until the next game, like a couple of data bits, one orb, and the throne room here, which has the last of the letters.
So what's the rest of this video going to be then?
The rest of this video is going to be heading back in and finishing the rest of that final dungeon. And then looking to find the... Oh yeah, I also check in with the crow because I want to see what he says about time having broken. And pick up supplies for making rings of my new equipment. This line was, I'm pretty sure, was supposed to be from well before we broke things. I don't know exactly when these are supposed to trigger. The lion statue, I think, is after we beat the queen the first time, and then the last one, I think, is after we've destroyed the portal and made changes to the time stream that way.
So does it actually matter at all, like, who you choose to kill in order to break time?
Yes, actually. And I will be showing off both of those endings. And yeah, that was a significant amount of time in those two menus that I cut out.
And yet you decided to keep in the backtracking.
The backtracking was at least somewhat fun. This is one of my favorite of the supers, the Chaos Blades, because it's basically a screen-wide area of effect.
I can see that.
It doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't hit much, but it hits hard. Or it doesn't hit many times, but it hits hard. And it hits from all the way across the screen. So I can drop it as I'm retreating, you know, from an attack and still do damage. Which suits me fine. I like the fact that if you hit the ceiling when you're doing the super jump, you get a Super Metroid style screen shake. Like if you were shine sparking.
Well, I mean, as long as you're just going to be, like, imitating things, why not go all the way with it?
Yeah. I very much approve of going the extra little mile. And as it turns out, the demon is in fact effective against everything in this dungeon. So he's not as useless here as he is some other places.
That's nice.
Yeah. I still switch him out for the next familiar as soon as I get that one. The last familiar is the one that we needed the shiny rock to get.
Oh, so that actually did have a use.
Yeah.
I have the sinking feeling it's just going to be the Raven.
It is the Raven, but there's a actually fairly awesome boss fight in order to get it.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. And this is me going, wait, there's a way to the left.
There is.
Let's see what that is real quick.
I hope by quick you mean in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah. We basically get right up there, see what it is, and then see you next time.